not used to this. First of all, three of us, we're welcoming a new team member tonight. We got Chase Younts, we got Houdini up, Chuck Walter on the floor. We're not used to this, guys. 80-62, the Bearcats run Ohio State off the floor. This one wasn't even close. UC looked good 1 through 11. Hell, go up to 13 players. They look good. Chatterbox Bearcats, we're talking about a W. Kirby, roll the tape.
Yo, there's something beautiful about Bearcats basketball. High flying.
Kenyon with a jam.
Shot denying.
Miles rejected.
There's just an energy that comes with the Cats. A rich history built on toughness.
And Mick Cronin looks like he wants a technical.
A bring-your-own-lunch pail mentality. For a long time, UC was the hunted.
And I felt that we couldn't lose.
I think it's time the Bearcats do a little hunting of their own.
Once y'all done with them, send them to me, man. You know what I mean? We can put them on the court. Keep that Bearcat thing going.
I am fired up.
Takes it all the way. Oh! It's going to be Little.
Steve Logan would be over in Afghanistan or somewhere. I bet he'd be pretty poised. He just does not get rattled.
Van Exel, he'll cut it loose. Watch out. Stevenson cuts it back. Oh! Kilpatrick outruns everybody. Johnson, the exclamation point.
We've been dealt the king of heartbreak over and over again.
Rozier. Smith and
Everything they worked for was undone on one play.
But I see the light. The Cats are back.
Lukosius, open three, got it! Oh, baby!
Welcome to the only live Bearcats postgame show on YouTube. This is Chatterbox Bearcats.
All right, let's make this very clear, everyone, as we welcome you into Chatterbox Bearcats. Cincinnati Bearcats are pretty good. It's an exhibition game. I was texting some Ohio State buddies, was saying, hey, your guys' team's not very good this year. Bearcats is rolling by 18. They're up by 20 most of the game. They're responding to exhibition. Let's see you guys in February, how you look. But it's not about the score. It's not about the win. It's about how you play. And the Bearcats, top to bottom, looked unreal, starting with Dylan Mitchell, 6 of 6 on the floor, 12 points, 7 rebounds in his first game as a Bearcat. We welcome you into Chatterbox Bearcats. The best way you can grow the show is tune in wherever you get your audio podcasts, like and subscribe. Also do the same on YouTube. We're live after every single game. Chuck Walter, we got Houdini. We have my man Chase Younts, who makes his debut, a student at the University of Cincinnati. So we welcome in a little bit of the youth mix with the old men on the show. Let's start with you, Houdini, man. Overall thoughts on a dominant performance. A game that was 22, 23, 19, as well as maybe 15.
I mean, just right out of the gate, Dylan Mitchell, just first off, looks awesome in a Bearcat uniform. And we saw it almost right on. I mean, I think it was the third possession of the game, just a monster oop, slam. I was excited. This stadium was packed. I can't believe they didn't air it on TV.
What do you think, 10.5, 10K?
Yeah, probably about 10K. I think the stadium holds, 12,000? It was damn near close to that. And the arena was electric, and maybe we can score. It's been a while since it comes down to where it's like, we're 12 deep. I mean, we got Josh Reed, CJ Frederick barely played. This is one of the deepest rosters that I can remember. I'm excited. And, I mean, no slant to Kirby because he did everything he could. We're putting on an ESPN Plus broadcast for you because we forgot about 19 items. We're doing this. The camera may fall off at any moment, so just be aware of that. But, hey, a win's a win. I know it's an exhibition game, but we did what we were supposed to do.
The good news is the camera was expensed by Chatterbox, so if it does go down, we're just sending an expense report to Trace Ballard. We're good to go. Game started off the exact same way we saw a lot of last year. That's with an alley-oop try to Mandego. It went out of bounds. I looked at Houdini and I said, this again. They tried it a few times. It only worked like once. The difference with this year's team is everyone is a high flyer. We saw Mitchell throw down 2-3, as you mentioned. Pretty much I mean, what, 4, 5, 6, like really good slams? You're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it with the Cincinnati team just from tonight. I mean, they were able to get above the rim. They played fast. They played physical. And again, I think I was really impressed with these wings. You got the young guys that see Raymond Griffith who got a chance to be there on the court. They are very raw players, but they're going to have a good chance to really develop as the season goes on. If those guys can come back in later on in the season, this is going to be a really neat Bearcats.
Yeah, that's where I want to start. Let's start with Tyler Betsy. He wasn't the star of the show by any means. Played 16 minutes in the game. Was in the first rotation off the bench. Bearcats just went 5-5. It was like that 2010, 2011 team where they had the Goon Squad. And it was like Jackson, Larry Davis, Ibrahim Thomas, Deion Dixon, and they just welcomed 5 guys in off the bench. Like, that's what UC has. The difference is that team didn't have a bunch of top-heavy guys like this year's team has. I mean, Lukosius looked good. He was 4-7 from the floor, 2 of 5 from deep. He had 12 points in only 16 minutes. So, mind you, while Ohio State, for much of the game, was playing their stars 23, 25 minutes, we got 16 from him. We got 17 from Day Thomas. We got 16 from Arrington Page, 16 from Tyler Betsy, 19 from Connor Hickman, 10 from Raymond Griffith, 9 from Josh Reed. Only 3 minutes for C.J. Frederick. That's when you know you're deep. A former starter in Iowa as a freshman. A starter at Kentucky is literally your 11, 12 man off the bench and getting 3 minutes of run in this game. So everything was impressive from the 32 of 59 from the floor, which is over 50%, from 10 to 26 from deep, from dominating the glass 38 to 21. They won by 17 on the glass. I'm going to ask you, Houdini, like, based off what you saw tonight, because we're realists. We're unbiased. We're unbiased reporters. Forget the fact that we broke the cardinal sin of journalism wearing NIL shirts on the floor. I don't give a damn. What is this team's weakness from what you saw tonight? Like, where do you think that they could be stymied?
I mean, I think the biggest question is, and I think we finished in the bottom tier of the Big 12 in shooting 3-point percentage. That was our biggest weakness last year. Today we shot 38% from 3. If we can do that, this team can be. I mean, I'm talking extremely good. I know we already claimed Final Four in the group chat, but if these guys can shoot the way that we saw tonight, and it's one game, 38%, Connor Hickman could hit anything. And I think that he's going to get some serious run on this team. And, hey, get your misses out in an exhibition game. Please. I'm like, brick everything, okay? The guy to me that really stood out, Sean Stewart's right here. Can't believe he didn't choose UC. But Arrington Page, I thought he looked very good, very capable as a backup center coming in for Aziz. So I'm really excited. But, yeah, I think the key is if we can shoot the ball at any type of efficient level, this team is very dangerous.
I got a question for both of you guys. We're on the YouTube stream right now. For those of you on the audio podcast in the morning, you're not going to be able to see this, but I am not this small. I'm just looking at the camera in front of me, and I look like I'm 5'4". No, I'm not. I'm like an inch smaller than Houdini. This is an optical illusion for those of you on YouTube. But anyways, Chase, let's go on to Tyler Betsy, who comes in, knocks down the first 3 he sees. I was interested to see like what type of player he was. I thought he was going to be more of like an athlete than he was. But with that being said, he clearly understands the game well if he's in there playing as a freshman. From what you saw of him, like, what's your takeaway? I know it's game 1, it's exhibition. He's, 18, 19 years old. But the shooting is definitely there. But I thought maybe like we'd see some explosiveness. That doesn't really look like his game.
Yeah, I mean, with Betsy, I think we're all starting to figure out this game. That's the thing. With being one game, it's like, okay, what do we have? We got a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", that can shoot from the outside. We got a guy that can create off the dribble, hit that 15-foot shot. And then if he's able to get a little bit more aggressive, get more comfortable as the season goes on, and drive downhill, that's where you start to see the player score. That's going to be huge for him. So I think it's going to be easing in as the season goes on. That's why with the non-conference games early in the season, get ready for the Big 12. It's not going to be easy once he gets into it. Once he sees a couple of these Big 12 teams go at it, he could be a star. It might not be right now. Later on down the road, he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that Josh Reed, who got a lot of minutes last year, we've heard a lot about his development this offseason. We talked about Frederick being like 11th or 12th on the bench. he was there as well, to where when they did that massive 5-man rotation, the second unit was Day-Day, it was Hickman, it was Rayvon Griffith, it was Tyler Betsy, and it was Arrington Page. The two that were not in that rotation was Josh Reed and CJ Frederick. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it's just running different bodies out there with different lineups, but we did only see 9 minutes of Josh Reed, 2 rainbow threes, knocked them both down. What would you think of Reed out there, and anyone else that may have stood out for the Bearcats?
I'll say this. The Rainbow 3 wasn't as rainbowy as we saw. He actually had it was nowhere close to the Jumbotron, which I love to see. And Josh Reed, I really respect him because Wes is a straight shooter. And I think he told him, hey, you're going to be battling for playing time at all with the roster we're bringing in, the transfers we're bringing in. And he said, hey, in a transfer portal era where everyone is leaving for anything, it's like, hey, we'll give you like 6 McDoubles. You want to come over to SMU? Sure, we'll do it. He stuck around, and I think if injuries happen to this team, he's a guy that comes into the game. You're not expecting him to put up 15 to 20 points. He plays his role correctly, and he can knock down some shots when he's open. So Josh Reed, listen, if you're telling me he's our 12th man, I'm ecstatic. I really am, and I think he'll play some randomly pivotal moments in this season. The other guy that stuck out to me, that just looking at this box score, because being an exhibition, they're not having it on ESPN or Yahoo Sports, you can't see it. He only played 10 minutes, and I felt like he made a massive imprint on the game. I know Wes said that he led the team in rebounds in the preseason. He was all over the place. Deflections, I know that's like a big stat, doesn't actually hit the stat sheet. Deflections, he knocked down his first 3. And he's so passionate too. Hometown kid. I loved what I saw from Rayvon. I think he could definitely make an impact on this team.
Yeah, it's like the old high school mentality where no spots are given, right? I mean, you pencil in Jizzle as your starting point guard, Seamoss, Dan. I think actually the starting 5 for UC is probably set in stone. And the 5 we saw run out there was Jizzle in the point guard position. We had Seamoss, we had Dan, we had Dylan Mitchell, and we had at the center position Aziz Bandego. That's probably the 5 that are running out opening night. I want to go back to Dylan Mitchell, man. I mean, he was just 6 for 6 in your debut, and he was running around firing up the crowd. Like, he just looked like that old school Bearcat. Plays above the rim, can handle it, seems like pretty versatile, can bring it up the floor. Sounds like the only part of his game that he really hasn't done at full speed is just knocking down perimeter shots. But I mean, when you have guys like CJ, or I think Jizzle's going to shoot a lot better this year, and then you see Josh Reed knocking down both of his threes, and Hickman missed most of his shots tonight. He's apparently a very good shooter as well. Skillings has worked on his 3 in the offseason. We saw him knock one down, and Seamoss had 2. Jizzle went 2 of 3. Skillings 1 of 3. Day-Day 1 of 2. Rayvon hit his only attempt. Betsy shot 5. He's going to be a volume shooter for the Cats. He hit 1 of them. And we saw 2 threes go down for Josh Reed. So this is a team that, 1 through 4, because of the 5 position, Aziz isn't knocking her down. We saw from Arrington Page. I hope he doesn't shoot a lot of threes this year, but you never know. Maybe he could stroke those too. But like overall, the depth and what Dylan Mitchell brings to the table.
It's tough to say because that dude can do a lot. I think the big thing with him is how versatile a player he is at 6'8", 6'9". He's going to be able to stretch the floor, play that 4 position. If they decide to go small at some point, he can even play bigger than what his height actually is. I'm just excited to see him on the offensive glass, defensive glass, running coast to coast, especially hyping up the crowd, getting blocks and everything else. I think he's the missing piece. I truly think he's the missing piece to this offense, and it's going to be able to cycle this thing around and make his versatility.
Yeah, and one thing, when you are a high-flying team that gets up and down the floor, that UC's definitely they're going to be that type of team again this year. Lobs, block shots, dunks, a lot of 3 opportunities. One thing that comes with that is being able to protect the basketball. Because if you're not able to protect the basketball, you get what we saw last year. That is turnovers. UC had 21 of them in the game. I didn't see 21 turnovers. I saw some mistakes here and there. Maybe when you're beating a team by 23 that you haven't beaten years in any sport, you don't really care about the turnovers there. But did you see some sloppiness based on when you were dialed in, watching some of the offensive sets?
I thought there might have been 40 turnovers, Chuck. Yeah, it was very sloppy, but it kind of felt like when you're playing a pickup basketball game, and you're up 6 possessions or whatever. You're playing at 21. You're up 12 to 4. You start getting sloppy with the basketball. And I think that's kind of what it turned into, where guys were trying to show what they could do and getting a little sloppy with it. But that's something that Wes, I guarantee you, he's fired up about right now in the locker room, because that was one of our biggest downfalls, was being sloppy with the ball. We know the talent that Day and Jizzle have as the point guards, but a lot of turnovers. And when we're playing this gauntlet that we're going to see in the Big 12, that is going to come back to bite you. Maybe we'll see some C.J. Anthony. C.J. Anthony
got
logged
11 minutes.
7.5 minutes. C.J. I was up there in the stands going, C.J. Anthony, yeah, you never know. You never know. But all things aside, all jokes aside, the turnovers, they're going to need to clean it up. Again, it's an exhibition game. You're going to expect a little sloppiness, and I think we saw that today. We still came up on top by 20.
Yeah, forced Ohio State into 17 turnovers. And who knows what Ohio State's going to be this year. They obviously going through a coaching transition. They, quite frankly, did not look great tonight by any means. But when you take a team from the Big Ten to the shed, it gives you reason to be excited. And it's not even about the score in this one. It's just the way UC looked. I was talking to Carl Kramer, Hall of Fame coach at Moeller, one of the best in the state, talking to his son Joe. And the theme was like, dude, they are so long on defense. They are so fast. They are switching everything. They are communicating. It didn't matter who was in there, the different lineups. They're just switching left and right. I mean, this team is deep. We do know that based on the plus minus, Jizzle, Dan, Seamus Ukocius, Dylan Mitchell, and Aziz. So basically the starting 5 obviously is your top 5 in the game in terms of plus minus. I mean, Jizzle and Dan are plus 20 in the game. That's just incredible stuff. So really this year comes down to, with all the athletes that UC has on the floor, can they hit shots? Is Day Thomas going to get up to 36, 37% from 3 where he can knock him down in a consistent clip? The same goes with Jizzle James. Seamus is going to knock him down. Is Dan a formidable 3-point shooter? If everyone is taking steps up shooting the basketball, there's no question that this team has Final Four length. They have Final Four speed. They have Final Four depth. It really comes down to shooting and coaching, the 2 things that we need to see. And I thought Wes coached them on great tonight. Just from the passion alone on the sidelines, man, he was getting after these guys. Just a fun night overall at Fifth Third Arena. If you didn't get to see it, I feel bad for you, because quite frankly, it was the greatest day of my life. I was having a blast. Just kicking Ohio State's ass. Let me give you a leg. Just absolutely.
I thought the camera was going to go.
Yeah, the camera may go. Absolutely kick their ass. Final thoughts, Chase. As we give you guys exhibition shows. I drove in from Chicago, man, a 5-hour drive, turning right back around in the morning. That's how much I wanted to see this team. I believe in them. I believe in you watching the show. So go ahead, like and subscribe. But final thoughts from what was just a complete ass kicking at the old show.
If Day Thomas is running our 2s and Connor Hickman in there, stuff's looking pretty good. I think what we saw from Day tonight, he's a really good defender, but also being able to have that ability to drive to the basket and be patient with trying to score. It's going to be big, having to kick out to Connor Hickman and everything else when the season gets started. Just the depth, the versatility, it's in the roster. Now you have to go out there and show it. It's going to be really exciting to see what this guy's able to do this year.
Yeah, it was truly incredible how easy UC was making it look against Ohio State. I felt bad for Ohio State. I thought we were playing Bellarmine again in the exhibition. It wasn't even a game. UC was getting that floater with Seamus or Jizzle or whoever it was with ease. They had the lob down a couple of times. That was something we saw so much of last year, the option. Are you going to go with the 5-foot floater? Are you going to go with the lob? I thought early they went with that lob a little too much, which is not shocking considering the lobs we saw last year. But once they kind of pulled up, the old stop and pop, as Gus Johnson used to say, Ohio State had no answer, just 1 through 5 at all times. UC was way too good. And I did hear some people behind me upstairs in 221 talking about Aziz saying maybe he just is too stagnant on the offensive end. Maybe we put Arrington Page out there. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if there was a reason he was honorable mention all conference last year. It's not what he does in the stat sheet. It's just the fact that he's out there holding his hands to the sky. I mean, that alone is a difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as you know, I'm an Aziz apologist, and I will stand by Aziz till the day that I die.
Me too. I'm going to remember for the rest of my life where I was.
100%. And listen, there's going to be games where, hey, maybe we need more of an offensive spark, and we're going to have to play Eric Page over Aziz. That's okay. But having Aziz in the lineup, we saw it so many times, and we'll see it a billion more times this season. He changes shots that should be easy little layups or floaters. He changes the projection of those shots so consistently that it changes everything an offense can do. And to your point, it's so nice to see the offense. I mean, wide open shots, left and right. It's kind of like pick your shooter, who's going to shoot it. And just saw Dylan Mitchell, I almost froze up. But the way that this offense, I mean, remember the times when we had
folks. Start of the show. 6 for 6 in the
6 for 6.
Defense. Welcome to Cincinnati.
Remember the times when it was, Landers Nolly to Julius, and it was like, hey, dude, just be Kobe out there and do a step back. You're not seeing that at all. It really is fantastic offense, great shots, and the defense is even better. So I really think the sky's the limit. Again, just an exhibition, but you saw everything you wanted to see today. Maybe clean up the turnover.
Yeah, so my big notes that I took before UC just went up like 17, then we started having fun. There were no notes after UC started rolling. I was like, let's just talk about what we saw, and that was just a good old butt whooping. Active hands. That was the last thing I wanted to say. UC just had incredible hands on defense, great poise and patience on offense. I'm excited, fellas. I don't see any reason why this team can't be a sneaky one in the college basketball landscape, and quite frankly, one of the best Bearcats teams we've seen since the early 2000s. It feels like we got everything on the right track. The fact that we were able to do this, Kirby on the 1s and 2s, live shows, we're going to have a fun year, guys. We're Big J journalists this season, credentialed media members. Going to be doing this for the shootout, I hope, on the floor. So good stuff all around. Chase, welcome to the team. I already gave you a chance to give your final thoughts, so I'm just going to say it is good seeing you. Houdini, you got the football recaps and the midweek shows with Eric Lilly every week. So now's the time, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the program, hop on board with what we're doing. And what we're doing is just talking Bearcats. Just some fans, a student, a fan, and I gotta learn how to stand. I've never stood and done this. I feel like I'm on NFL Live. I got to figure out my footwork, my posture, but we'll clean this up later in the show. Yeah. I felt good out here. I felt like a seasoned vet until I looked at the camera in front of me, and I'm like, God, Houdini looks like he's 6'8". Like he's literally an inch taller than me. It's just the angle. Chase, by the way, former basketball player at Earl in college, D2, so he's going to have a bunch of the basketball breakdowns during the season with Lily. That'll be just two analytical nerds going back and forth while Houdini and myself just ramble about stats and eye tests and talking about the bunker boy and all the good stuff we get to on Chatterbox Bearcats. So for Hudson Cloutke, Chase Yance, I'm Charlie Walter, Chuck, as they know me on the streets. Be sure to subscribe. This will be waiting for you the morning after every single game this season. Bearcats beat Ohio State. It doesn't count. But when you beat them by 18, there's a reason to celebrate like it's the 60s. Have a good one, everyone. Happy homecoming. And we will see you after the Bearcats hopefully take down the Arizona State Sun Devils 5-1 at Nippert Stadium tomorrow. That game is at noon. Peace.